Welcome to the Jujutsu Kaisen Chapter 263 review. Guys, if you didn't watch the spoiler video, I'll drop the information for you here. We got some terrible news. There's another break, but it's not a crazy break. It's just a 1 week break this time, the standard type of breaks that we get every 3 weeks or so. So it's not that bad, you'll live. There's more to life than Jujutsu Kaisen, guys. Don't worry, it's not a big deal. And Gege did leave us with a longer chapter than usual to wait out this week with, so it's gonna be straight. With that said, guys, if you enjoy content such as this, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe as I bring these chapters to life every week and make them pretty dope. With that said, no more wasting time, let's get into the chapter. The dust settles and we see Sukuna slide out of the domain. Apparently, he ate a hollow purple. He does say this about Yuta's hollow purple though. As powerful as the technique may be, he's still not used to using it. Even his own domain's barrier was destroyed. Maybe this played a role into the damage it did to him, but it still did a lot. With that said, we see Yuji, Yuta, and Todo charge towards Sukuna with no hesitation. Yuta has provided them with a golden opportunity and they're sure as hell gonna take it. As each of them charge, Todo, the oldest and the most intelligent of the trio, shoots out orders. He tells Yuta, it does not matter if we're caught in the crossfire, the second your technique recovers, shoot as many hollow purples into him as you can. And then it's noted that, immediately after the use of the domain expansion, Sukuna is once again in a state where his cursed technique is painstakingly difficult to use. Meanwhile, Yuta, on the other hand, has collapsed. This is because Kenjaku's cursed technique is burned out after Yuta was using his domain expansion. Before the 5 minutes had even passed, Kenjaku's technique was halted. However, Yuta is not dead, as he thinks about how Rika not haunting this body means that copy is no longer his technique, making the limitless the burnt out technique, but he still thought he would be able to use Kenjaku's. This makes Yuta wonder how Kenjaku was able to use this technique following a domain expansion, as nothing like this ever happened to him when fighting Yuki. He then notes that he did not receive any information relating to this when he copied his technique, but he's going to at least maintain the barrier for the sake of his comrades. Yes, his domain expansion was just broken, but you're gonna see what he means by this later. So we finally come back to the Yuji and Todo masterclass, and they're already throwing hands. Like, I love that there's no talking, nothing like that. Todo just instantly thinks, I guess this is why they call him the King of Curses. Even in a situation like this, he's not letting up. Since I'm looking at Yuta, he's gonna come straight for me. And that he does. The fact that Todo realizes that he screwed up by not staring at Sukuna the whole time, and then him actually getting hit, that shit go hard, bro. And Yuji just pulls up right after, but Sukuna notices that the Vibra Slap is getting set off. Yuji then gets shifted right behind Sukuna, and Todo's like, I'm not done hogging the spotlight yet. And Yuji lands a haymaker to Sukuna's face. Yo, I'm doing backflips every single time Yuji lands a punch on Sukuna at this point, man. Yo, after 40 chapters of this, you just celebrate whenever Sukuna sees blood. I need him hurt, bro. I need him feeling pain. And after this punch is landed on Sukuna's face, Todo points out that all of his cursed energy is still within the shards of the domain expansion barrier that was previously casted. Since it broke, the shards are scattered all over the battlefield, but they are imbued with cursed energy. Combine this with Boogie Woogie, and Todo's just shifting Yuji all over the place, swapping him with the shards. Hence is why he says there's no greater stage on which Boogie Woogie can shine. Todo smacks the thing on his head, pause, and Yuji starts to shift all over the place, swapping hundreds of times around Sukuna. But it's done. He puts his hand on Sukuna's stomach, and he says, I'll do this as many times as it takes. Wake up, Megami. And he launches a dismantle right at Sukuna's stomach. Yo, when this is animated, I know some of y'all brains is gonna be fried. Y'all already be struggling with the picture books. God knows what's gonna happen when this is actually being like shown in movement. Anyway, after the dismantles hit Sukuna, he points out that Yuji's able to selectively choose the target of his technique. What Yuji's doing here is firing dismantles after dismantles at the barrier between Megami and his own soul. And he's also made a binding valve to make his strikes more effective at tearing my soul from Megami's body. And as Sukuna throws up a finger, he says that if I continue taking these blows, I will not be able to maintain this body and I'll lose. And then he eats the finger after squashing it. But he does say, however, and we see Sukuna jump onto a pillar, but Yuji already responds by activating Cleave on the pillar, dropping Sukuna down onto the floor as he readies a punch. However, Sukuna is actually able to dodge this punch mid-air and counter Yuji, punching him into the wall and making a massive crater. Like, bro, you would think we're at the finish line by now, but he's still doing all that with a single punch. And he just says, if I avoid these blows, they'll have no other moves that are as effective. Basically confirming that Yuji's the only one who can put him down at this very moment. As this is going on, Todo says that if my spare Vibra Slap is not recognized as my left hand, it's not gonna work, so just one last time. Todo uses the Vibra Slap in his final attempt to swap Yuji. However, nothing happens. Nobody's ever been swapped, and Sukuna takes notice of this. The fake out did not work. However, there was never a fake out in the first place. Todo has swapped in somebody else, Hana. As Sukuna's massive right eye armor shield stares up at Hana, she stares right back down at him, and it's explained that through the use of a binding vow, the range of Todo's technique had been extended. We enter a flashback where we see Hana being convinced to join the battle basically. Angel says that we're done here once we free Gojo, but Hana's really concerned about Megumi. Yuta on the other hand couldn't give less of a shit. He just says, yo, we're gonna probably need you guys at the end of it all. Just as I said earlier, it's okay if you guys don't want to help us, but even if my domain is destroyed, I'm gonna make sure that if you do help, you won't have to fight. I just want you to fire off Jacob's ladder as the finishing blow. We're gonna be taking all or nothing gamble with your technique in order to split Sukuna and Megumi. At the very end, we'll make the most of the best part of my technique. And Hana's like, the best part of your technique? And Yuta goes on to explain this. When dealing with my copy technique, nobody ever thinks of the original user of the technique. For whatever reason, all they think about is what techniques I have and how many techniques I have. But they never stop to think of the possibility of the original user with the same technique appearing in the battle. Especially for those who know how copy works, it's very easy to fall in the trap of thinking it as taking the technique rather than just replicating it. So the true strength of my copy technique is having two of the same card in our hand. And as this strategy is finally realized, we see a maximum output Jacob's ladder activated, and judgment is finally cast on the King of Curses. So keeping it a stack, first thing I want to talk about is Yuji is definitely going to take over from here. Let's really sit back and think about all the options of the fight. Ino is exhausted, Choso got clapped, Todo is not able to use his Vibra Slap anymore, it's shattered when he did the final one to bring Hana in. Yuta's just being Yuta, right? Failing us all. And Maki may have been teleported too far. I mean, you'd think that Maki would be able to come back by now. She is like the only realistic character I can see joining the fight again, but I do think Maki's just completely out of the fight. She hasn't made an appearance since she got hit by the dismantle from Sukuna recovering his curse technique, or at least healing it in terms of output. And all she's really done since she's got hit by that technique is get protected by me with simple domain and get taken out of the battle. I don't think she's gonna return for whatever plot reasons, and from here on out, as Sukuna suggested, Yuji's the only one who can really hurt him. I think we're just gonna get Yuji versus Sukuna, and Yuji's gonna take over the fight from here. Another thing I want to talk about when it comes to this chapter is it leads us on with Kenjaku's technique more. Y'all gonna say I'm glazing Kenjaku or whatever. Bro, we gotta focus on this. The fact that even the characters are like, yo, how did Kenjaku use his technique after he uses domain expansion if that's not how it works? Like, there's a reason why Gege's not telling us about Kenjaku, bro. I'm not crazy. I'm not, bro. Something's gonna happen with this technique. We know everything Sukuna can do, but not Kenjaku's curse technique. Guys, keep your eyes open. Don't let Gege fool you. He's trying to distract us. Something's gonna happen here. I do want to say, everybody give props to Todo in the comments. I'm proud of Todo, man. He came back, did his thing, and left the series when he had to. I'm glad bro ain't here no more, because he be making editing these chapters a pain, bro. I be having to, like, yo, it's extra work when Todo's around. Sukuna just use the domain expansion, man. Get Todo with it and do me a permanent solid. with that said, guys, not much to talk about here for this week. Although it was a longer chapter, it was just straight hands, and we love it. I do want to say thank you guys for pulling up as always. I appreciate the support to no end. It means the world to me. Leave some suggestions down below. It is a break week, so maybe I can get in one extra video, although I got a couple of Dragon Ball Z ones and Tokyo Ghoul on the way. Let me stop talking. I'm gonna let y'all go, man. Y'all have a great week, and peace out.